Really, um, just bring everybody up to speed. Like we have a new um, schedule that we follow. Shalom Amina, where we go. We do the three prayers like we've been doing for for a long while now. And then we go into like a study, a daily study, where we getting fed with wisdom, fed with the Psalms, fed with the vibration of creation from Genesis chapter 1, and then fed with the prophecies of what Yahweh said was going to happen to us if we disobeyed him and if we obeyed him. And then we get fed with the song of Moses that we're supposed to rehearse in the ears of the children of Israel every day. And then, of course, we get fed with Yahweh Shai HaMashiach by reviewing in sequential order the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, a few chapters every day. And we do all of these things and also reviewing the Tawada. Was the Tawada reviewed? Also reviewing the Tawada or the Torah, laws from the Torah on a daily basis, just to bring those things and feed those things into our spirit and to spiritually cleanse us with the washing of water by the word. Right, so these are things that are done every day. Today, already for the 12th day of the month, these things are done on a lunar month basis. So for this day, which is the 12th day of the month, we've already reviewed the commandments. We've reviewed Genesis chapter 1. We've reviewed the groups of the Psalms that we're supposed to read today. Deuteronomy 32, Deuteronomy 28. Mark, we're going to be reading Mark. All right. And all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. For the COVID-19 negative swab. I don't want anybody sticking no 8 inches or 9 inches of thin anything down my nasal passage. All right. So hopefully the Most High continue to keep us safe and keep us protected during this plague. But I remember when the plague hit the children of Israel and the children of Egypt, the Egyptians, they were separate. They weren't together. Right. So as long as we spiritually and physically stay apart from the Gawoyim in their world, which I know is hard for a lot of people to grasp that concept, then we have a higher probability of staying in any negative environmental catastrophes that may come upon us. All right. So again, we want to start to so today, like I said, we've gone over all these other things. Solomon Shalom, Cletus Shalom. We've gone over all of these chapters today. Only ones left are Proverbs 8, which was actually reviewed. Mark chapter 6, Proverbs chapter 12 was reviewed, and then Mark chapter 6, 7, and 8. All right. So this is the pattern of study that we're engaging in as a community daily. The community of Kodashim. Ye shall sanctify yourselves. Sanctify yourselves, of course, with the washing of water by the word. Not living by every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh is detrimental to your spiritual and physical well-being. So man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh. So this study pattern is something we have to engage in every month, going through certain physical things, physical words, physical reading, but these words are spiritual. All right, baptism of the water is a physical thing, but it has spiritual indications. All right, the priest Aaron, Moses washing the feet and the hands of the priest is a physical thing, right? Physical water, but it has spiritual meaning. There's spiritual significance behind it. That same way, once we come into the structure of prayer, we should try to cleanse ourselves and cleanse our bodies before we go before the Most High, in whatever minimum or maximum way is possible. Some of us may choose to take a full-blown shower. Some of us may choose just to wash our hands, in our feet as a token of cleanliness and a token of our heart inside, being clean, as our flesh on the outside is clean. Yahweh Shai talked about not being as a whited sepulcher or as a tomb that's white and bright and clean on the inside, but on the outside it's full of dead bodies and dirt. So we want dead bodies and death and decay. So we want the inside and the outside of our bodies to be cleansed. So as we wash ourselves on the outside, we're asking the Father to show us how to wash ourselves on the inside also. All right. So let's start with Proverbs chapter 12. So we'll go through these 28 chapters of Proverbs, and then we'll jump 28 verses of Proverbs, and then we'll jump back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 12, go over that, and then we'll go into Mark chapter 6, 7, and 8. And if you inbox me, I might make it public, I might not. But if you inbox me, I'll prioritize getting you a listing of these readings that we want to do every day of your lives to have certain things just reinforced in your spirit. You want to say something? Reinforced in your spirit. All right. All right. So Proverbs chapter 12. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. Whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish.
So when you hate when somebody corrects you, the Most High says that you're not in control of your actions, of your spirit. There's no technique. That's why you have two kinds of fighters, right? You have a brute fighter, then you have a technical fighter. So the Most High is saying if you don't love instruction, if you hate correction and reproof, you're a brute. There's no technique, there's no plan of what you're doing. So the Most High says what? Let all things be done decently and in order through the Holy Spirit in 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. So if you love instruction, you love knowledge. All right? So instruction means what? You take the knowledge and you receive the knowledge in a way that's understandable, in a presentation that's logical. All right? For example, the knowledge is don't commit adultery. That's the knowledge is, don't commit adultery. Man and woman get married. That's the man's woman. That's the instruction is do not do this. And then you get instruction on how not to do it. And then once you know how not to do it, then you get the understanding of the ramifications of obedience and disobedience. All right. And then once you get that understanding, you keep following along, and then actually not doing it leads to a higher level of wisdom, which leads to treasures being stored in heaven. So when you understand the knowledge of the Most High in the whole Bible, all right, you have the knowledge there. And then once you receive the instruction from the Holy Spirit, from wisdom, from Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, from your teacher, righteous instruction, all right, then you can execute it and you can know how to do things. That's why I compared you to a man that's brutish, without technique, without any plan of what to do and how to do it. So you have to have the instruction from the Most High. You can't go through life saying, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to just do what I want to do. You have to have the instructions of the Most High. You have to have the knowledge of Yahweh. And then that is what you use as your list of options and choices. All right? Can I smoke this sherm stick? Can I smoke this wet? This marijuana has been dipped in PCP. This weed been dipped in PCP. All right. Can I overindulge and get drunk off this alcohol? Can I deal with this man's woman? Can I give my brother a hug? Can I give my brother a gift? Can I bring my brother something that's nice that he's gonna like? Can I pray for my brother? You see, these are things that the Most High talks about, and he shows us, yes, you can, no, you can't. And you live your life around what he said, which is the instruction. All right, verse 2. I'm not going to be that long with verse 2. Go ahead.
A good man obtaineth favor of Yahweh.
So a man that does right in Yahweh's eyes will get favor from Yahweh. Read.
But a man of wicked devices.
A man whose devices, the things that he has, his resources, his hands, his mouth, his car, his thoughts, his business, his job, all right, makeup, jewelry, clothes, shoes, the devices, the things that you have are being used for wickedness is what?
Will he condemn?
The Most High is going to condemn that person. The Most High is going to condemn that person. All right, go ahead.
A man shall not be established by wickedness.
So a man shall not be established by wickedness. Go ahead.
But the root of the righteous shall not be moved.
Once you get rooted in righteousness, the root of the righteous is what? Is the ways of Abraham. Abraham is the root that we come from. And Abraham was supposed to instruct his household in righteousness. Once you pick on the Hebrew ways of Abraham, the righteous ways of Abraham, the lifestyle understanding of what Abraham lived, then the Most High said, your roots are deep now. So then you can't be moved. Why? Because you're standing firm upon the roots, the trunk, and the branch of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Yahushua is the what? Yahushua is the vine. Hamashiach is the vine. And his root is what? Wisdom, Torah, and most of all, Yahweh is the root of Yahushua. See, that's the root. So once the root are righteous, and once you get plugged into that root, which for us is going to be ultimately Yahushua, we can't get moved, man. Nobody can move us. So you like that what? What does the scripture say? Like a tree planted by the rivers of the water, right? Right, like a tree planted by the side of the river, always getting nourished. Who is that water? That water is Yahushua. See, we're talking about the root, but what is the root? What's the root going to grow into? Yahushua said, I seen men as trees. I seen trees walking as men. Yahushua said, every tree, see how everything's comes right back around, Amaria? Yahushua said, every tree that don't bring forth fruit is going to be what, Ariashana?
Thrown in the fire.
Chopped down and thrown into the fire. You see? See, it all boils back down to Hamashiach. He's giving parables about this wisdom that we're reading, but now we have to understand and apply what he's saying. All right, verse 3.
A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved.
Go ahead.
A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband.
A virtuous woman, a woman that is strong, a woman that is diligent in Yahweh, a woman that is a soldier in the spirit, follows orders. Why does it say that? That word virtuous is chayal in the Hebrew, which is another way that the word soldier is used in the scriptures. Soldier is used for chayal. Soldier is also used for regalia, which means foot, like a soldier's on his feet. This chayal is the dedication, the honor, the upright spirit of a person, particularly dealing with the woman right now. So that virtuous woman, that woman that is upright, that has that soldier mentality, all right? Like Soldier Slim said, it's hard to maintain a soldier mentality, right? So it's hard to maintain. So a woman that has that soldier mentality where this is the mission, this is the job, these are the orders, I have to do it. So the Most High talks about that woman. That woman that has that mentality is a what? Is a crown to her husband. All right. She enhances and accentuates. So imagine if this is a gold crown on my head. Pueden sentarse por allá. Imagine if this is a gold crown on my head. All right. You don't know if my hair is messy. You don't know if my hair is braided. You don't know what's going on in my hair, but you just see this what? You just see this turban. Let's say it's a crown. And when I take it off, this accentuates everything. This makes everything look a lot more pleasant, a lot more cultural. It enhances my outfit. It enhances what I'm trying to do. It enhances what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't take away from it. Oh, that's a nice turban he had. You don't say, oh, that's a nice turban. You don't just look at it. It just blends in with everything that's going on, right? It blends in. So that's how a virtuous woman is. She's helping in the mission of her man. She's helping in the mission of her husband. She's not the mission. Okay, and she's not the boss. And she's not calling the shots. The man is the mission. The man is the boss. The man is calling the shot. And the woman is what? The woman is a crown unto her man. Read.
But she that maketh ashamed.
She that does what?
That maketh ashamed.
Meaning a woman that does things that are not upright. that are not shamefaced, but are caused the man, to be ashamed. Meaning what? We can't in front of other people. Why? Because you're ashamed. You can't say that you talked about or did the thing. Why? Because you're ashamed. But so the woman that makes us shame, meaning does things that are not honorable, does things that are not upright, does things that are not good for the reputation of herself, her family, and her household, the scripture says she makes ashamed. All right? All right? The woman that makes ashamed, meaning her husband and her and Yahweh and wisdom are not proud of the things that she's doing because she's making ashamed. She's doing shameful things. All right? She's doing shameful things. She may be dealing with and looking at other men, dealing with and looking at other holidays outside the Bible, dealing with and looking at other clothes that a righteous woman should not be wearing. So the Most High says that a woman that's ashamed is what?
Is as rottenness in his bones.
Rottenness in his bone, meaning she can affect the whole spirit of this man. She's like rottenness to the man's bone. She's like rottenness to his spirit, meaning she's not bringing life. She's bringing death. Because what happens if your bones are rotten? You're going to die. So you're going to lose that zeal, that spirit to do righteousness. Because that woman is doing things that makes you ashamed. So now instead of you looking at building her up and building up other people and building up yourself and your family, you got to deal with the foolishness of the shameful things that have gotten done by this woman. So your focus is taken off of the mission because she's not being a crown. You see? Go ahead.
The thoughts of the righteous are right.
The thoughts of the righteous are right. So the thoughts in your head, where everything begins at, are correct and pure and honorable in the eyes of the Most High. Go ahead.
But the counsels of the wicked are deceit.
Anything that the wicked tell you to do is based on deceiving you to cause you to do wickedness, to cause you to do wrong. So you have to be very careful about who you listen to, who you taking guidance from, who you getting counsel from. Because the wicked words of counsel are deceptive. Go ahead.
The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood.
The words of the wicked are to lie in wait for blood. Meaning what? The way of the wicked is just to sit there and wait for the opportunity to bring death. So even if it could be your mother, it could be your father, it could be your son, it could be your daughter, they telling you something, advice that's wicked, that's not righteous. And if you don't understand the scriptures and understand the Messiah, you could fall into that trap and do that wickedness that they're telling you to do. Well, you should just ignore your husband. Or he tell you to do something, let him see what it feels like to be ignored when you ask somebody to do something. Ignore him like he ignored you. So and then he can see. That's wicked. You can't do that. But if you don't understand the Bible, understand what the Bible says, what the Torah, what the word of Yahweh, the Mikra, what it says about relationships and Yahweh and the Messiah, you could follow folly. And when you follow folly, it's just Satan waiting there to snatch you up and to destroy your spirit and your relationship. It could be with your son. Well, this is what you should do with your son if he did X, Y, Z. Or this is what you should do with your father or with your mother, X, Y, Z. Well, let's just sit back and wait and analyze everything and look, and then we can respond. That's why we had a situation when, a person had a situation going on with their family, and they called me and asked me what should they do about the situation when somebody was being falsely accused in their family. I said, well, just sit back and just wait. Don't respond. Just review everything. Just review everything and just look and wait. Don't respond. Just review and wait, and you look on your end and you check with your records and see if everything that you have lines up with the evidence that's over here. And sure enough, the person went beyond what I advised them to do and did even more so. And then they said, well, see, here's the mistake. Your data does not match my data, so you made a mistake. You made a mistake. And then when they seen the person made the mistake, they went to the person. The person said, you know what, my bad. Your family is honorable. Your family did not do this thing that I thought they did. I apologize. And the problem was resolved. But I could have said, yeah, go to that person, those people, and tell them you don't know who they think they are, but they better watch their mouth on how you come to them saying stuff about your family. And you tell them what you think about them. And then you tell them that they don't got nothing else to say to you again in life ever. And they better watch their mouth. And the situation would have turned out a lot differently. So that's why I say the words of the wicked are the words of the wicked to lie in wait for blood. So the words of the wicked are always going to lead to death and traps and being taken up. Something a little more rhythmic, man. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But the mouth of the upright shall deliver them.
See, the mouth of the upright will deliver you from somebody laying in wait for you. Because you're going to be like, hold on, no. Don't do that, sis. Don't do that, Ak. Don't do that. That sounds like rain, man. Just do the real, like you really doing it, man. You just, no. That's like rain, bro. Like this, you got two things. You got a treble and you got a bass. You just doing, just treble. Like there's no bass in what you doing, man. All right, go ahead. Proverbs 12:7. Go ahead.
The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand.
So the Most High is going to, but if your house isn't built on obedience, then guess what? Your house is the house of the wicked. It has to be built on obedience to the Most High. Like this. All right, go ahead.
A man shall be commended according to his wisdom.
So you commend a man according to his wisdom. What is his wisdom? Is it his words or the outcome and the action that are a result of his words? See, that's the wisdom right there. Wisdom isn't just you reading it off the page and saying what it says. Wisdom is what is the outcome? What is the result of those words? What is the life that comes from it? Now just go ahead and just stop it. Go ahead.
But he that is of a perverse heart shall be despised.
But the person that has a perverse heart, meaning he's just trying to do his own thing. He's not trying to do righteously. He's not trying to do it and give the advice according to the scripture. He shall be what? He said he shall be despised. All right, go ahead.
He that is despised and hath a servant.
So he that despised and has a servant. So if a person is despised, but they got somebody that's there to help them do what needs to be done. Go ahead.
Is better than he that honoreth himself and lacketh bread.
All right, so that person is better than somebody who's honoring himself, so he doesn't have a servant. And then he what? And then he lacks bread. So, which means that you're not putting the things into motion that you're trying to teach and talk about to get any type of a benefit or growth from your own words and actions. See, these are the things that we have to look out for. All right? We have to look out for. So you honor yourself, man. It's all about you. But at the end of the day, what's the righteous results of the wisdom that you're talking about? Is it the wisdom of the Most High, Yahweh, or is it carnal wisdom? Or is it carnal wisdom? What is it? Which kind of wisdom is it? Which action is it? You see? So you lack bread, meaning that the nourishment of what you're talking about righteously is not benefiting what you're saying. Because you're honoring yourself, and you got who are you supposed to honor? You're supposed to honor Yahweh. The scripture says, let another man praise you and boost you up and give you credit, and not just you yourself. But if you don't do that, then you're going to fall out of line with what the Most High is saying. And you're going to fall into a trap of pride and self-exaltation. All right, verse 10.
A righteous man regardeth the life of his beast.
Now it's getting into animals. So even the beast, the animal, the dog, if you're trying to do uprightly, you're trying to do the right thing, you're going to regard the life of your beast. You're going to regard the dog, the cat, all right? The servant that's a Gentile, all right? Your children. Even going down to the beast, you're going to regard the life of the beast. So you're not going to misuse animals, mistreat animals, abuse animals, just beat animals. You're going to respect the life of the animal that the Most High has entrusted you with to take care of and to help in your endeavor, your work. All right. So the scripture says what? A righteous man will regard the life of the beast. But what?
But the tender mercies of the wicked
Even if the wicked man is doing nice things, go ahead,
are cruel.
they still going to end in cruelty. They're still going to end in something bad happening. Because that tender mercy is not righteous. It's not something that's coming from your heart. It's just you being nice for the sake of being nice. Because there's an end game that the wicked are playing with you. They'll be nice to you. They'll say something good to you. They'll try to help you. But at the end of the day, it's a cruel intention. Their own personal gain, their own personal exaltation, their own personal benefit is what they're talking about. So that's why the Most High says that even their tender mercies are cruel if it's coming from a wicked man. Tender mercy meaning, oh, I'll be nice to you, I'll do this for you, X, Y, Z. All right, and I've seen that before. I've seen people, nice, traveling all around the world and traveling around the globe. You meet all different types of nations and tribes and peoples. And I've seen people be nice, very considerate. And I've seen them sit and wait and wait and wait. Oh, this came up. I need you to help me pay for X, Y, and Z. Like, nah, that's not something I can really do. I'm sorry. That's not the type of relationship that we have. We have a relationship where I use this from you and I pay you for using this. And if something happens that's out of my control with this thing that I'm using or I'm renting from you, then you have to take that responsibility and make sure everything gets brought back up to. And the people know this. Well, they're going to try you. They're going to try you. So just be careful of those smiling faces. Be wary of men and women in general, especially when you're in a strange foreign place. And don't take anything, from anybody if you can help it. And if it's something small, okay, glass of chai. Like when we went to the Neiman and the man bought the sodas, the natural carbonated sodas for you and you, right? Okay, you take that. Oh, here's this. No, I don't want that. It's too big, man. You see? Because that gift can blind you. So now the scripture says that the righteous man regards the life of his beast, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So the righteous man, he's going to look out for what's going on even with his animals. He's going to look out for his animals, so he should be helping another human being and regard that man's life with no strings attached. But the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. So be careful when they come to you smiling. I'm going to help you. I want to do something for you. You can refuse and don't accept that help from that person. Especially if you know it's not a person that's righteous and upright and honorable. Oh, I want to help you change the tire. Oh, I'm good. I got it. I can change it. Thank you anyway. No, I want to help you. I don't want anything in return. I'm just being nice. I want to just help you change your tire. That's it. You know what? Maybe I'll let you help me now. All right, let's go to verse 11.
He that tilleth his land.
He that puts in the work on the soil. He that tills his land, gets the soil prepared, gets the soil ready. You dig into the Bible. You dig into the books. Right? You dig into the word. You dig into how to do things. He that tilleth his land, you really looking at maintaining and preparing your family, preparing your lessons and your words and the plan that you have for your brothers, preparing for a righteous government, preparing for a righteous council. So you got to till your soil. And when you till your land, your shoes, your hands are going to get dirty. So you got to get ready to really dig in and do this work. It's not easy enough. So if you till the land, you shall be what?
Shall be satisfied with bread.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh. So the same way you want to go out there and prepare your soil, put wheat seeds down, put grain seeds down so you can have bread. That same way you got to go out and prepare your soul, your spirit, and work that word into your soul every day. Every day you got to work the word of Yahweh into your body, into your soil, into your spirit, so it can be nourished. So the trees and the soil And the rain and the water and the plants can all work together for the benefit of man, like we read where? Genesis chapter 1. See how it lines up, Amaria? See how it lines up? Because yesterday we read about the soil and the land, and we brought it back to people and man, remember? And now we see that this proverb is showing us and telling us the same thing. And that goes back to what we were saying. When you read Genesis, you'll see every aspect of human life being addressed metaphorically in Genesis chapter 1 at creation. Why? Because that's where everything took place at. That's the very beginning of everything. So in that book, Genesis 1, we see everything that's going to happen in human existence. All of the tools are there. For housing, it's there with the wood. It's there with the iron. It's there with the silver and the gold. Where? It's all in the soil, the dirt that Yahweh created. When he called the lands, the earth together from the waters. We have, right? So once we understand Genesis chapter 1, we see that it's a blueprint for understanding the rest of the Bible. And it's a blueprint for understanding the perfection that Yahweh used when he created. So we can get back to the concepts. We can get back to the spirit of that perfection and do what Yahweh said to do. And apply those words to creation, which is us and how we interact with each other. So if you till your land, you will be satisfied with bread. But it's the process, right? You till your land what? You till your land you till it in the winter time. All right, when you finish the harvest, you turn the soil back over. You don't just let it sit there. And then it goes through the winter time, the rain, the cold, the cool, and then what happens? It starts to break up. But it's already been, you've already turned it over again. So then when the winter time is ending, and then the summertime is starting again, it's starting to get cold again, warm again outside. After maybe the first month and the first Hebrew month, Abib, then you should start you're starting to the soil. Generally, everywhere the soil is now starting to get ready to plant again. And then you do what? You got two harvests coming in. You got the early grain harvest, and then you got the later grain harvest. The early grain harvest you bring before the Most High as the first fruits. All right? As the first fruits offering, which happens on the 16th of Abib. 16th of Abib. And then you have that Feast of Weeks 50 days later, 50 days after Passover, 50 days after the 15th of Abib. And then what happens? And then on the 7th month, you have the Feast of Ingathering, bringing everything back in. So now you got that bread, more bread to prepare you. So when are you preparing and bringing these things in? In the summer. And then in the harvest, you're not sleeping. You're working to bring that harvest in. You see, this is talking about actual agriculture, but just like our master and chief, our high king, priest, rabbi, Yahushua, he always used man's dealings and man's spirit in association with what? Fish, agriculture, animals, right? I'll make you fishers of men, which man don't leave the 99 sheep to go get the one. All right, you got a man that's sowing seeds. Some of the seeds fall on rocky ground, some by the thorns, some fall on good soil. And we see all these things we see from what? Genesis chapter 1. And now we see them right here. We see the animal, we see the agriculture. Your body is a vessel that's constantly supposed to be getting nourished and built up and grown. But some of us, we just put water. We just keep watering. We don't prune. We don't turn the soil over. We don't put it in the sunshine and then bring it in. We don't cover it up. We don't get the bugs off. This is what you have to do to your spirit. You want to say something? All right. So the scripture says that he that tills his land shall be satisfied with bread. Go ahead.
Like he that followeth vain persons is void of understanding.
So he that follows vanity, meaning you spending your time with these breakdowns that are not going to help your spirit. You're spending your time with these breakdowns that's not going to be beneficial to your brother or your sister's salvation. Prioritize that. And then once you prioritize the law, now you understand, okay, who is Esau? Who is Ruth? Who is Boaz? Okay, who is Cornelius? See, these things are peripheral. The Torah and the manifestation of salvation through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, our only rabbi. He said, call no man rabbi but him. Once we understand him and his mission and the Torah and wisdom, now all these things we see, do we even need to deal with these things? All right, Marakad. So now we see these things, Marakad and Izardia. So once we understand Yahweh Shai and what he's saying, now we don't follow after vanity. What does it mean to be a vain person? It means that what you're doing and saying is for nothing. If I prove to you that Simon the Canaanite as a disciple was really Simon the Zealot, meaning he was part of a group that wanted an armed uprising against the Roman Empire. He wasn't a Hamite. He wasn't from the family of Canaan that we read about in Deuteronomy chapter 7, or a family of the Canaanites that we read about in Genesis chapter 10. He wasn't a Canaanite. It's a mistranslation in the Greek. Once I prove that to you with my 2-hour video, how's that going to help you and your wife? How's it going to help you and your children? You see, as my great friend Moray Hosea Williams said, that there's different types of people. Some of us are urgent, where we just want to soak up the knowledge. And then what do you do with the knowledge when you soak it up? You're just soaking up information and knowledge about anything. I want to learn about the truth about the Metu Neter, how it's false. I want to learn the truth about all these different religions, how they're false. And then what do? Are you purging yourself with the washing of water by the word? Are you learning Torah, Dawadah? It's better for you to learn Torah and to follow the Mishnah and the Torah, even if the Mishnah goes wrong in some of the things that it says sometime, than it is for you to follow Protestantism or Catholicism or Islam or Buddhism. Because at least the Mishnah and Maimonides, his area is based on the Torah. So you can go back to the Torah and look at the Torah for yourself and not be subject to the interpretations of the sages before. You don't have to be subject to that. You're subject to what it says. You're not subject to the interpretation and the opinion. It says man cannot eat or consume any meat that has 4 legs, that doesn't have a split hoof, cloven-footed, and chewed cud. So any camel, any goat, any lion is unlawful. So if I'm looking at in the Islamic country where they eat camel, then they're teaching me to break the Torah. They're teaching and talking against Moses. How can this be of the Most High? If I'm in a country where they're telling me you cannot under any circumstances eat beef, how can that be righteous if it's against what the Most High told me I can do? Why? Because their gods have different rules. So I'm not dealing with that God. I'm dealing with the God that gave the rules to Moses that we're supposed to be following today. His words are life. And the words of Hamashiach are words of life, right? So you have to understand that if you follow after vain persons, you will not have any understanding. Vain person meaning what is the subject matter of the discussion? How is this going to help you cleanse and sanctify and make yourself holy? How is this going to make you purify yourself on a daily basis from your grudges, from your anger, from your flesh? A lot of us Israelites have a big problem with anger. We have a very aggressive and hostile and warlike spirit. Look at David. Was David a master killer or no? David was killing lions, bears, and men with his bare hands and with the sling and the stone. And what did David do when that woman made him upset? He said, I'm not going to deal with you no more. It was it. It wasn't an hour discussion. It wasn't a 3-hour meeting. He said, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. That's it. Why? Because he was a man of discipline. He was a man, and he had understanding of wisdom. And he exercised the proverb where it says what? Grievous words stir up anger. So I'm not going to give grievous words. I'm going to say a few things and that's it. Because we're going back and forth, that's going to cause a big rift in our relationship. So he understood what to do and what to say and how to do it and say it. Right? So he understood what it says comprehending much in few words. So he spoke and that was it. Now, whether or not the woman listened or kept pressing him is another story. But that had nothing to do with his reaction. So you can't follow vain persons. You can't follow vanity. What you're doing, what you're saying has to lead to salvation. It must lead to repentance. That must be the foundation of what you're talking about and saying. Is that person you're dealing with must become a cleaner vessel fit for the master's use. If you're not cleaning a person's spirit so they can be used by the master, then you're not working with and for Yahushua. You have to gather with him. You have to gather with Yahushua. You know, we're trying to harvest the food. We're trying to harvest. Imagine we're in the field and we're picking watermelon, right? I picked watermelon before down in North Carolina. I've picked watermelons before in North Carolina with my cousins and them. We picked watermelons, strawberries. I picked tobacco, all right? I've done all of that type of stuff. They did it way more and better than me. But I picked a watermelon. Now imagine we out there picking watermelon, and I decide, you know what? There's a lot of weeds out here. We need to get these weeds out the way. How's that gonna help in the mission, picking a watermelon? It ain't. Watermelon big as what? This big to this big. And I'm out there saying, man, these weeds is in the way. That ain't the mission. Imagine that. Imagine you got 5 acres of watermelon, and you got a Judite, and you got an Issacharite, you got a Danite out there that's all picking. A Garifuna brother, a brother from Mexico, and then you got a brother from Florida. They out there in your field, they picking the watermelons. And then you got me, the Gadite brother, come out there, and I said, too many weeds. The weeds need to be picked. And I start picking the weeds. I said, man, you fired, bro. Why? You ain't doing the job. See, the job is not to pick the weeds. The job is to gather the harvest. You see, the harvest is men's souls. And the angels are going to come in the end and separate the wheat and the tares. So you got to push the nourishment that's going to harvest them plants. It's going to harvest that fruit. But if you follow after vain persons, you're going to be void of understanding. You only get the understanding by following after righteous judgment. Read.
Verse 12. The wicked desireth the net of evil men.
So the wicked desire the net of evil men. So the wicked desireth the net of evil men. The wicked desire to take in everything that's evil, that's wrong, that's wicked against the Most High. It's evil. Go ahead.
But the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit.
The root of the righteous, again, once you rooted in that righteousness, you're going to bring forth righteous fruit. And you know a tree by what? How do you know a tree? By the fruit that it bears. That's how you know a tree. By the fruit that it bears. What would you think if you saw an apple tree, you saw an orange on it? You would think that's weird, right? Yeah, what mad scientist is this? What Frankenstein fruit is this? You got a fruit, it's half orange and it's half apple. It's an opal. Like that one, what is this? It's a hybrid fruit. But the root of the righteous is going to bring forth, and grow. It's going to yield. It's going to yield life. It's going to bring life. And that's how you see what you're doing. The way you're doing stuff, if it ain't working, you wrong. Let's say that flat out. If you're doing something, I don't care if it's on your job, if it's on your relationship, if it's in your marriage, if it's in with your children, if it's in your studying, if it's on your street teaching, if it's not bringing you in fruit, then you're doing it wrong. You got to humble yourself and accept that. Every time you talking to somebody, it ain't going to be on the internet. It ain't going to be on the street. It ain't going to be on the phone. It could be any one of these methods, and it should be bringing in fruit. There should be fruit being gathered from somewhere. But the Most High says that the net of the evil men, and then you have the root of the righteous. The root of the righteous yields. It grows. It brings fruit. Wisdom is a tree of life to them that take hold of her. And it's going to prosper, whichever way it goes, as a gift. So you have to bring forth, if you're not bringing forth the fruit, if the fruit isn't growing, if the fruit isn't fruit that you want to eat, that you want your sons to eat, your daughters to eat, your mother to eat, your father to eat, then that you have to change the way you farm. You are the householder, and it has to go the way that you want it to go. Even if you have troubles, afflictions, and tribulations and challenges, you have to always maintain a righteous wisdom outlook on everything with your sons and your daughters and your co-workers and your subordinates and your superiors and your neighbors. You always have to be that light that's put on a hill that's shining forth. You can't hide that light. Go ahead.
He is snared by the transgression of his lips.
So the wicked man, he talks too much, he's going to get caught up in wickedness because of his mouth, his words, what he's saying, and he starts to lie. Go ahead.
But the just shall come out of trouble.
The just man, because he's not talking negative and wicked and transgressing with his mouth, he's going to admit his fault, say I was wrong, repent, and move forward, and he's going to come out of trouble. So you see yourself in the midst of trouble, but everybody is the problem but you. When you're in the midst of trouble and all the trouble keeps happening to you, and I had to really think about that thing one time. Like, man, everybody I got a problem with, I'm the common factor, so I can change me, and then I hope I have less problems. And then you change your outlook. You know what? Let me try to help this brother and help this sister solve the issue and the problem if they want the help. If they don't want the help, I'm not going to bash them. I'm just going to continue being the light. Be the light that you're supposed to be. You can't beat a person into righteousness. You can only be a light. And if it's somebody, your son or your daughter that's under you, you still have to be that righteous example for them. And help them as they grow older. And pray and fast for them. See, we handle problems in the physical and we try to force it down somebody's throat. You try to force it down somebody's throat. But the Most High said your lips, your words, your deeds, your actions are going to be what cause you to come out of trouble. The just meaning you're being righteous in everything you're doing. And that's going to cause the trouble to get less and less and less. But you got to stop and pause and say, what direction do I want to go? Because if I go this way, all right, that's what's that on that movie? This is the forest of no return over here. The forest of no return. The forest of no return. This is, what movie is that? Forest of no return. So once you get into this forest, ain't no going back. It's thick, it's woody, and there's thorns everywhere. All right, thorns everywhere. All right, go ahead.
A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth.
So a man is going to be satisfied with what he says. But of course, what you say got to be backed up with what?
Wisdom.
It's got to be followed up with what? First you say it, first you think it, then you say it, then you what?
Do it.
Then you do it. You got to think about it in your brain first, run it by the proverb, then you say it, and then you do it. So the words of your mouth are going to satisfy you with the good fruit of your mouth. A man shall be satisfied with good by the fruit of mouth. So you're going to be satisfied through what is the fruit of your mouth? The two ways to look at it. The first fruit of your mouth is what? The words. And what is the fruit? What is the result? What is the goodness of your words? Anybody?
Righteousness.
Come on, before that, give me something better than that. Because that's abstract.
Is life.
Kakama? No, that's not what I'm looking for. The fruit of your lips is what? In other words, man, say something from your mouth. Hi. Okay, what's the fruit of that? What does hi mean? That's not really something that can bring forth a fruit. The fruit of your mouth. What do you want? What do you want from your mouth? What do you want? You want righteous things, you want good things, you want good actions. The fruit of your mouth, fruit comes from a what? Tree, a branch, flower. So the fruit of your mouth is the actions. We just said that. Thought, you think it, you say it, and then you do it, the action. So the fruit of your mouth, your actions are going to satisfy you when they're based on what now? Now, when they're based in what? Chakma. Based on wisdom. It's got to be based on wisdom. So everything you're doing got to be based on wisdom. And I like it. I like the people that I would like to see a change in the people that always find the negative proverbs to handle a situation. Always find the most extreme proverb is always the way to handle this situation. Always to the extreme. It's never the one where they got to be humble and be quiet and wait. It's always the one that allows them to just draw their blood and just slash everybody into smithereen pieces. Like my cousin told me, I'm going to smash you to smithereens. He follows a different, he doesn't follow the religion and the ways of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and Moses. And Yahweh, he follows something different. And so I'm going to smash. I said, why you want to do that for, man? I said, I'm not your enemy. I'm your brother, man. I love you, man. Why you want to smash me to smithereens, man? Why would you do that to me? So we not at war, bro. We trying to win each other righteously. And you want to smash me to smithereens. We can go to war. But I don't want to go to war with you right now. But don't start no static, won't be no static. You know, so you got to learn that balance between being a soldier and being a humble man of peace. But keep that warrior mentality as a soldier for Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. All right. All right, go ahead. Proverbs 12 and what?
14.
12, 14, read.
And the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him.
You see that? The recompense of your hand, which is the fruit of your hand, which comes after it leaves your mouth. The words, the action, the desire is there. So you're going to be paid back for what you do. So whatever you putting out there, it's because of you put it out there. It's coming back to you. It's coming back to you. Ain't no apologizing if you ain't doing nothing. Ain't no correcting or no chastising if you ain't going off. Sometimes you got to not do something before you do something that's wrong, where you really gonna have to make some major corrections. Sometimes it's better for you not to do something, right? Better for you. I'm not gonna do this thing. Why? Because if I do it, it's gonna cause a big problem. So I'm gonna just not do it now. Think about everything, what you're doing, how you're gonna do it, what's gonna be the outcome of what you do, especially the outcome. How is there gonna be any type of backlash a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now? So if you got a job, a business, and you hiring employees, and they don't do it the way you want to do, and you fired, get out of here. You get another one. You fired, get out of here. You get another one. Get fired, you get out of here. Why don't you gotta stop and show somebody properly how to do the job, have patience with them, and then you bring them on, and you keep on nourishing and growing that spirit. Go ahead.
Verse 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes.
So every fool says he's right for what he's doing, but sometimes what you're a fool meaning you're not using wisdom, so you're not right, you're wrong. Go ahead.
But he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise.
You got to listen to the counsel that your brothers are giving you, that the elders are giving you, that those that are using wisdom and proverbs are giving you. You have to listen to the counsel that the Most High has put in his book. And then you'll be a man of wisdom. Read.
A fool's wrath is presently known.
So a fool's wrath is known quick. Meaning he can't hold back. So that person is always getting angry. You got an angry spirit. You always want to lash out about stuff. It could be your children. It could be your father. Okay. It could be your husband. It could be your spouse. You always want to lash out and show that wrath. All right. That's what? It's presently known. Because you're a fool. Then you got to stop being a fool and deal with wisdom. Read.
But a prudent man covereth shame.
See, a prudent man is going to cover up doing that action that's going to be regarded as being shameful. He's not going to go into that way because it's a shame for him to do this. It's a shame for her to talk to her man like this. It's a shame for her to talk to her children like this. It's a shame for the children to talk to their parents like this. It's a shame for the husband to talk to his children and his wife like this. All right? So if they do that, then they're not walking in wisdom. But if they know that this is going to cover shame, this is going to cause shame, so I'm going to just cover that up. Go ahead.
He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness.
When you speak the truth, you're showing righteousness. Even if people oppose you or stand against you, you're doing righteousness, which is the what? Which is you're doing so many pillars of wisdom. All right, because you at almost the last pillar now. And then you did that judgment and you brought it forth. So now you can go right back to wisdom and do it again. All right, the judgment, execute that judgment, do that same righteousness again, speaking the truth, and then you keep arriving at wisdom over and over again. You skip everything else because you got the knowledge, you got the instruction, you got the understanding. All right, you got the equity, you understand the judgment. All right, and you got the instruction. And once you keep going back to it over and over again, you're off of that. You grow from off of that. All right, so you show right when you speak truth, you show forth righteousness. And if it's a righteous truth, it's even more righteous, okay, if that makes sense. Go ahead.
But a false witness, deceit.
A false witness is going to bring forth deceit. A person that's lying, that doesn't speak truth. Go ahead.
There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword.
So somebody speaking, it's like somebody just piercing your soul through. Like, oh man, why don't you just, you don't like to hear those words that person talk. Read.
But the tongue of the wise is health.
So the tongue of a person using wisdom makes your spirit feel like it's growing. Like the words I'm speaking to you now, they make your spirit feel like it's growing. It's health. You can hear and feel the life in these words, right? You can hear it. But it's a lot to absorb at one time on several different topics. So now you have to go back and do what? Put them in order. Get your notebook and categorize all the proverbs and then say what each one means and how to handle all these different situations and then apply them to your life, and then you'll grow. Go ahead.
The lip of truth shall be established forever.
The lip of truth shall be established forever. So you get eternal life when you walk in the truth of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, because he is the truth. He is the truth. So when you walk in the truth of Yahweh Shai, right? From what? Lleva la otra, lleva la silla blanca por acá. La silla blanca de atrás, llévala por acá. Y ponla aquí. Tú, la silla blanca, ponla aquí. Watch out for the thing right there. All right, so you bring all of that forward, and you speaking that truth of Yahweh Shai, the white chair. And you speaking the truth of Yahweh Shai, you guaranteed to have eternal life. The lip of truth shall be established forever. So we're talking about lips, and lips based on thoughts and words and actions. And the truth being what? Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. So when your lips are lips of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, when you're talking, living, and breathing his truth, your mouth, meaning your body, your words, your actions, will live forever, will be established forever. That's the reward that the Most High Yahweh is going to give you. You understand? He's going to give you that. All right? But you have to understand that you're dealing with Yahweh Shai. See, these things are all allowing us to look back into Genesis and forward into Revelation. And the Proverbs brings everything together. I get it and put it over there. Sit that down. You get it and put it over there. So the Proverbs show us the past, show us the present, show us the future. Because it's wisdom that goes through all things in all time. All right? Goes through all things in all time. All right, go ahead.
But a lying tongue is but for a moment.
A lying tongue is for a moment. So you're dealing with Hashatan, you're dealing with wickedness, you're dealing with falsehoods, you're dealing with the latest, the newest, greatest topic, wrong doctrine breakdown. It's going to fade away. Go ahead.
Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil.
When you imagine wrong things, your heart is evil. The Most High is telling you. When you try to deceive somebody, you got an evil heart. You try to trick somebody, you got an evil heart. So you have to really be truthful with yourself. I'm being deceitful. I got evil in my heart. Let me get rid of it. Through the spirit of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? All right, go ahead.
Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy.
The counselor of peace, there's joy in your heart now. Hey, man, you gotta, let's do better. You can do good, man. There's joy in your heart, and joy is one of the fruits of the what?
Spirit.
Fruits of the Spirit. So now you can work, the ones that give you that counsel and peace can help you manifest the fruits of the Spirit. So the ones that give you that deceit and imagine evil, they allow you to work in what? The works of the flesh. Deceitful. You see that? So you got to deal with the fruits of the Spirit that bring peace. Matter of fact, both of these, all right, peace and joy are fruits of the Spirit. All coming from wise counsel of the Spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Read. Verse 21.
There shall no evil happen to the just.
So you gotta read a little louder too. So that bad stuff is not gonna happen to you, which ultimately is going into a lake of fire. Your spirit will be preserved from the lake of fire. Go ahead.
But the wicked shall be filled with mischief.
The wicked are gonna be filled with all types of mischief, bad things, and wickedness eternally in that lake of fire. Go ahead.
Lying lips are an abomination to Yahweh.
So when you lie, you've committed an abomination before Yahweh. When you lie, it's the same as if you lay with another man, which is an abomination to Yahweh. So when you lie, it's an abomination to Yahweh. Go ahead.
But they that deal truly are his delight.
They that deal truly are his delight. So Yahweh loves when you deal truthfully, when you speak the truth. La. When you speak the truth, Yahweh loves that. So lying lips are a beautiful badge of honor to Yahweh. When you tell the truth, truthful lips are a righteous badge of honor to Yahweh. But when you deal falsely, Yahweh despises that. That's an abomination to Yahweh. Read.
A prudent man concealeth knowledge.
A prudent man doesn't tell everything that needs to be told at the same time, out of season. So you got to tell what needs to be told in season. So a prudent man will conceal knowledge, but he lets some of it out too. Knowledge is just the pure essence of everything that there is to know. That's why it's called know less, da'ith, because it's coming from yadai, to know. Da'ith, meaning to know. Da'ith is that which is known. All right? So a prudent man conceals sometimes that which is known. He doesn't bring out everything that is known. Go ahead.
But the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness.
But a person that's not dealing in righteous knowledge, just blah, 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 talking about any and everything. Whatever topic comes. Go ahead.
The hand of the diligent shall bear rule.
So a person that's diligent, that's pointing out what to do and what not to do, that's giving attention to detail, they shall bear rule. Meaning they're going to be part of the structure that's going to be for the maintenance and the safety and the well-being of an entire family, community, village, nation, state. Why? Because they're diligent. They're paying attention to what needs to be done, to how to help the brothers and the sisters. Read.
But the slothful,
The slothful, the person that's lazy, that doesn't exercise the rulership righteously, they're going to be what?
shall be under tribute.
Meaning they're going to have to answer to somebody. All right, go ahead.
Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop.
Heaviness in the heart of a man maketh to stoop. So you got heaviness in your heart, it makes you sad. It brings your heart down low. Go ahead.
But a good word maketh it glad.
But then when we give you the good words of Yahushua ultimately, all right, then your heart is going to be glad. Your heart is going to be lifted up. Your heart is going to be exalted in righteousness through Yahushua Mashiach, first and foremost. And then, of course, giving the person edification, positive words to help build them up. Go ahead.
The righteous are more excellent, but a good word maketh it glad.
Mm-hmm.
The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
So a man that's practicing righteousness, Yahushua, Torah, wisdom, he's more excellent. He's lifted up higher than his neighbor. Go ahead.
But the way of the wicked.
But when you hang out in the way of the wicked, when you walk in wickedness, when you follow the path of wickedness, what's going to happen?
But the way of the wicked seduceth.
You're going to allow the seduceth them, right?
Seduceth.
You're going to be seduced by the wicked. So the wicked are going to be able to seduce you. Seduceth, it's a hard, seduceth. The way of the wicked going to seduce you. Because you're paying attention to their way. You seduced. If I'm not looking at you, how are you going to seduce me? I'm not looking, I'm not listening. How are you going to seduce me? You can't. I'm staying far away from the wicked. All right, go ahead.
The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting.
So the slothful man is not going to cook what he got from hunting because he didn't get nothing. He's roasting something from somebody else. Read.
But the substance of a diligent man is precious.
That's the value. That's the worth. What a man has that's diligent, whether it's a lot or whether it's a little, is very precious. It's very valuable because he put his hands to the plow and he got it. Go ahead.
And the way of righteousness is life.
The way of righteousness is life. So the path to walk upon for righteousness leads to life. Life, like I said, in all of the different areas of your life, there's righteousness. The way of the righteousness is life. Things grow, things blossom, things bloom. Go ahead. But understanding that before a seed grows, first it has to what? Has to die first. So just because it's going to be blossoming and blooming doesn't mean it's going to be instantaneous. Because Yahweh said and everything was. Now you got to wait for the seed to grow. That's why we started out by what? Tilling the soil, tilling the land, right? The beast, looking out for your beast. Okay? The ox that's doing that work, you regarding them. And him working for you is going to give you, you're going to get that life. Go ahead.
And in the pathway thereof.
In the pathway of the righteous, meaning the way that he's walking. Go ahead.
There is no death.
There's no death in that way. There's nothing evil and wicked on that path that you're walking on if there's life on that path. All right? There's no death on that path. I mean, there's nothing that's going to discourage your soul, destroy your soul, because it's on a path. Anything that's not on that path is death. So you only stay on that path of the righteous. You only stay with the Torah. You only stay with the words of Hamashiach. You stay with the words of King David, Dawad, Malak Dawad. You stay with the words of King Solomon, Malak Shalamah. And then once you are firm on those paths, you can look around at all the other stuff. You don't need to pick fruit from no other trees. Because the Messiah and Yahushua, which is the Messiah, and King David they are the ones that's gonna make sure that you stay on the right path. All right, now let's go into Mark 6, and then we can get another reading in a minute. Actually, let's go to Genesis 1:12 first. I'll read that. 1:12, right? Genesis 1:12 says, "And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed." Today's the 12th, right?
Con.
All right, after his kind. And the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and Elohim saw that it was good. Because we went over this last night a little bit, right? So everything has to bring forth the seed, and we talk about this in the Proverbs. Everything dies before it can bring forth life. So that old man in you has to die first. You got to die first. You can't just walk into this truth like, "Hey, I'm born again." What did Yahushua say to Nicodemus? "Marvel not, ye must be born again." The way of righteousness, the way of holiness that you're walking on, Nicodemus, doesn't lead to life. You have to follow me now. And I'm following wisdom. I'm following Torah. You got to follow me. This is what Hamashiach, Yahushua, the chief rabbi, said. The high priest, the chief apostle, Yahushua Hamashiach. Follow me. You see that? So now he planted that seed in us. The seed grows and it brings forth fruit, and we all right. So the earth brings forth the grass. So your soil has to be tilled, just like we read in Proverbs, to bring forth life. Are you tilling your soil? Are you tilling your soil? To till the soil, you got to put that hard, maybe you got to put in that hard, maybe you got to put in that hard wood or that hard metal into the soil and dig it and pierce it through. And then you got to work and flip it and turn it around. So there's a lot of work that gets done. So then the earth is going to bring forth that grass, that herb, those trees for the service and use of man. So the whole community is working together as a spiritual ecosphere. As a spiritual, what's the other word? A spiritual ecology. Everything is growing and recirculating, the water and the dirt and the soil and the grass, and it's circulating and recycling, right? Natural recycling. All right? So everything grows and the Most High said that this is good. When we do it in the proper righteous way, it will be good. It will be good, Portia. If we do it in the righteous, right way that Yahweh shows us, we will have fruit. The trees will grow. The seeds will bring forth things that are going to be righteous. All right? That's Genesis 11. Chapter 1, verse 12. Let's go to Luke chapter 6. Mark chapter 6. So we're going to read Mark chapter 6, verse chapter 6, 7 and 8. All right, Mark 6 and 1, go ahead.
And he went out from thence and came into his own country.
Okay.
And his disciples followed him.
So Yahushua went out, and now he coming back around his hometown. All right. Switch up. Come around his hometown. Mark 6 and 2, go ahead.
And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue.
So when the Sabbath day was come, so Yahushua was observing the holy day of rest, the Sabbath day. What did he do?
And began to teach in the synagogue.
He went to the synagogues to teach. He went to the place where our people are worshiping to teach and to learn the Torah. That's where he went to. Go ahead.
And many hearing him were astonished, saying,
Mm-hmm.
From whence have this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him? And even such mighty works are wrought by his hands.
So how does he doing these mighty works? How does he have this wisdom? Ain't that what we got finished talking about? The wisdom that we need to make our decisions. There's no decision that you can make that you can't make or shouldn't make without wisdom. Go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James, and Joseph, and Judah, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him.
So Mary and Joseph had other children after Yahushua. All right. Had other brothers and sisters after Yahushua. Yahushua he was the oldest one. But he was a carpenter, so he had a vocation, he had a skill. Go ahead.
But Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country,
So he said, they're not going to give me honor in my hometown. Go ahead.
and among his own kin, and in his own house. And he could there do no mighty works,
Uh-huh.
save that he laid his hand upon a few sick folk,
Uh-huh.
and healed them.
Right. So he couldn't do but so much did because they wasn't really respectful and receptive of what he was doing and saying in his own hometown. Go ahead.
And he marveled because of their unbelief.
He was tripping out, like, man, they really don't believe. Go ahead.
And he went round about the villages, teaching,
Mm-hmm.
and he called unto him the 12,
His 12 disciples, go ahead, read a little louder.
and began to send them forth by two and two.
So he sent them out in groups of twos. So it was two men working together. Read.
And gave them power over unclean spirits.
So he gave them that power. So the Most High allowed him to have a gift. Then he could give that gift to other men. All right, go ahead.
And commanded them that they should take nothing for their journey,
I said, hey, don't take nothing for your journey. They take nothing for their journey. All right, go ahead.
save a staff only, no script, no bread, no money in their purse.
All right, go ahead. So don't take just take a staff with you to help you walk along the way. Take things that are going to be to help you stay on the path. That's what they took with them. Things that help them directly benefit you, and your staff helps you walk firm. Your staff helps you stay strong. Your staff helps to defend you if you need to defend yourself. So he said, only take this staff with you. Go ahead.
But be shod with sandals, and not put on two coats.
Mm-hmm.
And he said,
And travel light. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, In what place soever ye enter into an house, there abide till ye depart from that place.
So you go in and you stay in one place. Go ahead.
And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet.
So don't even deal with the dust that came from that place. Once they reject this truth, don't even worry about it no more. Shake the dust off your feet. Meaning I'm cleaning myself of even the unrighteous dust that was on this place. Go ahead.
For a testimony against them.
Mm-hmm.
Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city.
So for the Israelites that reject this truth, in those cities of Israel, it had been better for Sodom and Gomorrah than it is for that city when the Most High brings that destruction. Go ahead.
And they went out and preached that men should repent, and they cast out many devils.
So he said men should turn from their sins, and they had the spiritual power to cast out demons and devils also. Go ahead.
And anointed with oil many that were sick, and healed them. And King Herod heard of them, for his name was spread abroad. And he said that John the Baptist was risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him.
Mm-hmm.
Others said that it is Elias.
So they thought Yahushua was a reincarnation of Elijah. So they thought he had been reincarnated as Elijah. Go ahead.
And others said that is a prophet,
Mm-hmm.
or as one of the prophets.
Go ahead.
But when Herod heard
Going back into Deuteronomy, the prophet that we had been waiting on, which Yahushua was that prophet that we had been waiting on. Go ahead.
But when Herod heard thereof,
Mm-hmm.
he said, It is John, whom I beheaded. He is risen from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. For John,
So he married his brother's wife, which is adultery, which is a high form of fornication. So he married his brother's woman. He took his brother's woman, then he married her. That's wicked and evil. How much less when you take your brother's woman and marry her? As wicked for Herod, is wicked for us too. We can't do that. You can't bounce around from man to man. That's why Yahushua said you be with the man you with. And if you ain't with him, you can't be with nobody else. That's the way it is. Go ahead.
for John had said unto Herod, it is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife.
So John didn't bite his tongue. John told him that you're wrong for having your brother's wife. Go ahead.
Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him, and would have killed him, but she could not. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man, and holy, and observed him.
So Herod knew John was a righteous man. Go ahead.
And when he heard him, he did many things, and heard him gladly.
Mm-hmm.
And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced.
Verse 22.
And when the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced and pleased Herod, and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it to thee.
So the king said, hey, I want you, to tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you. And see, the women, can you get her, please, from walking up that thing? Take just, you both of y'all just go to the back. Because she ain't here about to knock, no, you and you. Because she ain't here about to knock over stuff and you're not even paying attention to. What are you paying attention to? Can you get her, please? And then go in the back with her, please. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to her. All right, so the women had already plotted, saying, when Herod asks you this, tell him you want John's head, which is a wicked, evil, murderous scheme for that woman to contrive with her daughter and her mother. All right, go ahead.
And he sware unto her, whatsoever thou wilt ask of me, I will give it thee.
I swear, whatever you want, I give it to you. Read.
Unto half of my kingdom. And she sat forth and said unto her
Read a
mother.
little louder.
And she went forth and said unto her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist.
She said, I want John the Baptist's head. Read.
And she came in straightway with haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will that thou give me by and by in a charger the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceeding sorry, yet for his oath's sake, and for their sakes which sat with him.
So he murdered a man, John the Baptist, just to keep his word. Go ahead.
He would not reject her.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately the king set an executioner, and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in the prison, and brought his head in a charger, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother.
And these women were so wicked. They said, well, put his head on a plate and bring that to me and let me see it. Go ahead.
And when his disciples heard of it, they came and took up his corpse and laid it in the tomb. And the apostles gathered themselves together unto Yahushua, and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said unto them, come ye yourselves apart into a desert place, and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they had no leisure so much as to eat. And they departed into a desert place by ship privately.
So they went into a boat and went into one of the coastal areas around the sea. And they said, we're going to just stay here for a little while because everybody was coming to them about the murder of John the Baptist. Go ahead. Now these are John's disciples. Read.
And the people saw them departing, and many knew him, and ran afoot thither out of all cities.
So Yahushua went with them too. Go ahead.
And outwent them, and came together unto him. And
So that's Yahushua's disciples, John's people, and then Yahushua. Go ahead.
And Yahushua, when he came out, saw much people and was moved with compassion toward them, because they were as sheep, not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. And when the day was now far spent, his disciples came unto him and said, This is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, that they may go into the country round about.
So what's he saying? We don't have any food. We in a rural area. Go ahead.
And into the villages, and buy themselves bread.
But let's let them loose so they go buy some food. Go ahead.
For they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said unto him, Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread, and give them to eat? He saith unto them, How many loaves have ye? Go and see.
So look at what he said. He said, so we're going to buy 200 pennies worth of bread. So they were kind of getting smart. Like, yo, we don't have enough money to buy enough food for all these people. Because remember, 300 pence, 300 pennies was what? Was a year's wages. So now they're talking 200 pennies, which is like 8 months worth of salary. So he said, nah, we don't got enough to, where we going to get money to buy food for all these people? Yahweh Shai? All right, go ahead. What did it say?
He saith unto them, How many loaves have ye? Go and see. And when they knew, they say, 5 and 2 fishes.
5 loaves and 2 fishes. Go ahead.
And he commanded them.
From the little boy. Go ahead.
And he commanded them to make all sit down by companies upon the green grass. And when they sat,
so sit down by companies, so they sit down in big groups. Go ahead.
And when they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by 50s.
So they sat them down in ranks, meaning everybody was lined up and seated decently and in order, listening. On every movie we saw, it's just a big old crowd of people, right? We don't see them sitting. So it's showing that Yahweh Shai had a military mind. Yahweh Shai had he organized the people in groups of 50 and in groups of 100, and he fed them. And that's showing you how we need to organize the people in bodies and groups of people to do the work of the Most High and to teach them and to bring them back to repentance and back to the dietary, back to the moral, back to the civil, back to the Torah in general, and back to Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. How? By being able to fill the need that the people have, by being able to help the people with their needs, spiritual and physical. The physical doesn't mean somebody gonna just use you. Like you a pushover, you a chump. Just do everything you need to have done, but to work together in the body so that they can benefit and the body benefits. Not just them benefiting off of what everybody's doing, but everybody can play their part. They sitting there listening to Yahweh Shai, and they've made that sacrifice. They didn't stay in their house and say, oh, Yahweh Shai fed us. They were lacking food because of the time that they were putting in to hearing the word of Yahweh. So when they were listening to the word of Yahweh, now the Most High is having his son feed them spiritual food. And when they received that spiritual food and they left from their own homes, then they said, okay, well, we need to eat. Well, you got you got $20,000 to feed the people. He said, don't worry about it. So they had the 5 loaves and 2 fish. Okay? And he commanded them to sit down in companies and by ranks. Ranks mean everything was ordered, structured in a line. So Yahweh had a brilliant mind. And the people understood how to get things operated and get things done in order. And this is the lesson our people have forgotten. We have to be more focused on how to arrange our community spiritually, physically, mentally, and how to do things that need to be done in a righteous way. Go ahead.
And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven and blessed, and brake the loaves.
So he blessed the food before he ate it. And we know it's a command that we bless our food, that we bless Yahweh after we eat too. Go ahead.
And gave them to his disciples to set before them.
So he blessed the food, and then he gave it to his disciples. And what happens? Go ahead.
And the 2 fishes divided he among them all, and they did all eat.
So it's probably some little wasn't no raw fish, I don't think. Probably some kind of smoked fish. Or it could have been some type of fried fish that the little boy had for his meal. Because you're not going to have five pieces of bread for a little small tiny fish. So that little fish, to eat 2 pieces of bread with. All right, go ahead. They're like some crappie or something, crappie size. Okay, go ahead.
And refilled it. And
So everybody ate and it was filled. Go ahead.
And they took up 12 baskets.
So the bread and the fish kept multiplying, reproducing. The seeds of his faith were able to manifest in the physical world to perform miracles. Because he had the faith. And he had the works to show he had the faith based in chakmah, wisdom, which brings us closer to Yahweh and gets us favor from him, which allows Yahweh to answer our prayers. Elena, shalom, hola. Go ahead.
And they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and the fishes.
So they even had so much food left over from 5 loaves and 2 fish. They had so much left over. Go ahead.
And they that did eat of the loaves were about 5,000 men.
Mm-hmm.
And straight
So
away,
5,000 men. Go ahead.
And straight away he constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go to the other side before unto Bethsaida.
So Bethsaida. So they said, come on, let's go. Go ahead.
While he sent away the people.
Uh-huh.
And when he had sent them away, he departed into a mountain to pray.
So he went into a mountain to pray. He went by himself to have a special prayer time for him and his father Yahweh. Go ahead.
And when even was come, the ship was in the midst of the sea, and he alone on the land. And he saw them toiling and rowing, for the wind was contrary unto them. And about the 4th night.
So the wind was blowing against them, and it was hard for them to move. Go ahead.
And about
the boat.
And about the 4th watch of the night, he cometh unto them, walking upon the sea, and would have passed by them.
So this is miracles that Yahweh Shai is doing like it's nothing. Easy for him, because he had the faith and he had the works to go along with his prayers to Yahweh to be able to do the impossible. What miracle, what prophet can you compare to this and say you want to start a new religion? After Yahweh Shai, you want to start something new? Not even a Messiah came to do something new. Go ahead.
But when they saw him walking upon the sea, they supposed it had been a spirit.
So they saw Yahweh Shai in the water and thought he was a ghost. Go ahead.
And cried out. For they all saw him and were troubled.
Go ahead.
And immediately he talked with them and saith unto them, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid.
Don't be afraid, it's me. Don't be afraid, it's not a ghost, it's me. Go ahead.
And he went up unto them into the ship, and the wind ceased, and they were sore amazed in themselves beyond measure, and wondered, for they considered not the miracles of the loaves, for their heart was hardened. And when they had passed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret.
Gennesaret, go ahead. So they wasn't even tripping on the loaves, their heart was hardened. But then when they saw that walking on the water, now they woke up again to their reality. Like, oh, okay, he walking on water. Go ahead.
And drew to the shore.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were come out of the ship, straightway they knew him, and ran throughout the whole region round about, and began to carry about in beds those that were sick, where they heard he went, and whithersoever he entered, into villages or cities or country, they laid sick in the streets.
Man, and this is the power that Israel needs now. You need to be able to go out there, put all the sick people out, and you got a group of about 10, 15 brothers that's going to do this healing. Bring your sick people out, they're going to be healed by the power of Yahweh. Go ahead.
And we saw him that they might touch.
That they may touch.
That they might touch.
As if it were the border of his garment. And as many as touched him were made whole. And the border of his garment was looking like this. See? Had fringes and it had blue. That's what the border of his garment looked like. All right, he had fringes on it, hanging over it. And then going across the top of it, he had blue. All right, so he had the fringes on the top. Then on top of the fringes, they put the border of blue. So that's what he had. So they touching the hem of his garment, even touching the garment, but on the hem there is the garment of on the hem of the garment there is fringes. So they were touching the fringe, the garment on the edge, and they got healed. Okay, they got healed because their faith in Yahweh and in Yahweh's faith in Yahweh allowed them to get healed and miracles were performed. All right. Take a little 2-minute recess. Be right back. Maybe less than 2 minutes. All right, recess is over. And we're back. You thank our sponsor for bringing us that word. All right, now we're going to chapter 7. ¿Quieres sentarte? All right, we're going to Proverbs chapter 7 now. Go ahead. Love Proverbs, right? We're going to Mark chapter 7 now. Go ahead.
Then came together unto him the Pharisees and certain of the scribes, which came from Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault.
The religious leaders, they saw Yahweh's disciples and him, his disciples eating, they didn't wash their hands. Well, maybe the other people. The other people. Yeah. Right. So they came and they said, well, look, your disciples eating food without washing their hands. Why did they say that? Because according to the tradition of the elders, okay, which they call the Talmud now, you were supposed to wash your arms up to your elbow before you ate any food. If you didn't do that, you were wrong. So they said that you have to do that. And Yahweh and his disciples, at this particular instance, they didn't do that. They didn't wash their hands. All right? And then the Pharisees and religious leaders, they say, hey, y'all are wrong. And Yahweh checked them like, look, I'm keeping the law, but you making up a law from the elders, and I don't got to do that unless I want to do that. Nothing's wrong with it, but if you just try to compel me to follow a custom or a tradition of a man, you wrong. And we hungry. Go ahead.
For the Pharisees and all the Jews, except they wash their hands, ought eat not, quoting the tradition of the elders.
The what?
Of the elders.
So they were keeping the tradition of the elders. And they were putting the tradition of the elders above Yahweh. He's greater than the tradition of the elders. And he didn't violate the Torah. Go ahead.
And when they come from the market, except they wash, they eat not, and many other things there be, which have received a holy, as the washing of cups and pots and brassen vessels and of tables,
So there are all types of laws about how to wash certain cups. You couldn't wash a cup that had dairy in it with a plate that had meat on it. You had to wash them separately. Things like this. Were they adding to the law, making it more difficult for you to be obedient to the Most High? Go ahead.
Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why walk not thy disciples according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands?
Mm-hmm.
He answered and said unto them, well hath Isaiah prophesied of you, hypocrites, as it is written, this people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me.
In Isaiah 29, we're talking about people talking about Yahweh with their mouth, but their heart is far from Yahweh. Go ahead.
Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
So they follow the commandments of men, teaching for doctrine. There's no doctrine in the Bible that tells you, oh, you don't see nowhere where it's talking about, oh, they always wash their hands before they ate. Right? You don't see that. So now they made it a law, or you gotta wash your hands before you eat. No, we don't. It's a good practice, but you can't condemn me if I don't do that. So he says, what you doing, you want to do this as a show from your mouth, but the hearts of the religious leaders were far from Yahweh Shai. Their heart wasn't in it. Their hearts were far from Yahweh. They only honored him with their mouth, with physical words, with words, but not the action. Going back to what we read in the Proverbs about your mouth, you think it, and then you speak it, and then you do it. Well, they would think it and speak it and do the opposite. Or they would speak and say something, honoring Yahweh, but then their actions were far from Yahweh. Okay?
Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
So they were teaching the commandments that men had gave, man. They were teaching for, what do you teach as the doctrine? The doctrine has to be based on the word of Yahweh. Then you can develop practices and teachings and doctrines around what Yahweh's word says. But these people just pull something outside the blue. You can't do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that word. That had nothing to do with the Torah. Go ahead.
For laying aside the commandment of Allah.
So you're gonna push the commandment of Yahweh about food. What he said about food, he already told us. Read.
Behold the tradition of men.
You're gonna push the tradition of men above the commandment and law of Yahweh. Go ahead.
As the washing of pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do.
The same way you do it, you can't wash this and that together. Now you're gonna say that that my disciples are wrong because they didn't wash their hands. You adding to the law, which is breaking the law. So you're gonna lay aside the commandment of Yahweh just to exalt your tradition. So you're gonna add to the law, which is breaking the law, and then you're gonna act like you keeping the law. And people were following it because, the words of the Pharisees and the Sadducees were very persuasive, very political, very intelligent sounding, very good speakers. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, full well, ye reject the commandments of Allah.
You reject the commandments of Yahweh. You reject the law that says don't add to the law. You reject the law that says don't take away from the law. You reject the law that says man shall live by every word that comes out of Yahweh's mouth. You reject what it says to the law and the testimony. You reject what Yahweh have said. That you may do what?
That you may keep your own tradition.
That you only want to keep your own tradition that you got set up. You reject the laws of Yahweh to be able to keep your own traditions. You see that? So you can't keep your tradition over the Torah. You have many new religions that have come about since Yahweh Shai was on the scene. Many new religions have popped up. Many new groups of Israelites have popped up. But all of them pushed the commandments aside. Not one of them is teaching the full commandments of Yahweh, and definitely not the commandments of Yahweh that he gave us and told us to do. So they're putting the commandments of Yahweh to the side. And they following after the tradition that they've made. Go ahead.
For Moshe said, honor thy father and thy mother, and whoso curseth father or mother, let him die the death.
Plain and simple, go ahead.
But ye say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, is it Corban, that is to say a gift, by whatsoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free.
So if you try to offer up a ransom for your sin, but you're supposed to be dead, they were accepting that ransom and didn't kill the person, or didn't even put the person in a bad position spiritually or physically, as long as they came forth basically with that money to look over their sins. Read.
And ye suffer him no more to do aught for his father or mother, making the word of Elohim of none effect through your tradition, which ye have delivered, and many such like things do ye. And when they had called all the people unto him, he said unto them, hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him.
So there's nobody on the outside in that can make you do any sin. He's going into the spirit now. Because we know that if you eat the corpse of a dead body, you committed a sin, right? So he's talking about the things that you have control going into your body cannot make you sin if it's not against the laws of the Most High. So your dirty hands ain't against the laws of the Most High. They can't make you sin. They can't spiritually defile you. Now, if you have a habit of always eating filthy things and you don't want to wash your body, that can defile you. Because the Most High told you got to clean and wash yourself. All right? But there's nothing outside the man that can enter into him that can defile him. Now, we know coronavirus can defile you. We know the measles and mumps and chicken pox and people's colds and flus can defile your body. But these are natural things. We're getting into the things that can come into your body and destroy and take away, like what? Like you defile the Sabbath. Now, understand what he's saying. Doesn't the scripture say if any man defile the Sabbath, right? That means take away from the sanctity and from the holiness of the Sabbath. So what the master is telling us is that there's nothing outside of your body that can come to your body and force or cause you to do something that makes your body impure, unclean, unholy before Yahweh. You have to make that decision and that choice. And that's what the master is trying to tell us. That's what our only rabbi, we have no rabbi but Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. We have no king of kings besides him. We have no Messiah, no Savior. We have no prophet that is over him. And he's telling us that what comes outside of you cannot defile you. Defile means take away from the wholeness or the cleanliness of your temple. And again, we know he's talking about the spiritual. How? Because if you go and you eat the corpse of a person, or if you eat poison meat, that's going to destroy and defile your body. Yahweh said, don't do these things. If you eat a corpse, he said, don't do that. So we know he's not talking about a physical defilement. He's going beyond the physical into the spirit, which is the root. So you have to make your own choice to do what Yahweh said to do, is what he's saying. Read verse 15.
There's nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him. But the things which are come out of him.
The things that come out of Yahweh, even for the brothers and sisters in India, Teresa, there's nothing outside your body that can force you to become defiled. You make that choice of whether you want to be defiled or not. Taking the holiness that you're seeking being taken away from you. But the thing which cometh what?
But the things which come out of him, those are they that defile the man.
The things that come out of you now, your desires, Your decisions, your choices that you make, that's what defiles you. That's what makes you unclean. You chose to do something against the commandments and laws of Yahweh. So you chose to make yourself become unclean and defiled. Read.
If any man have ears to hear, let him hear.
Everybody's not going to understand what we just said. But if you got the ears to hear it, hear it. Go ahead.
And when he entered into the house from the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable.
Mm-hmm.
And he saith unto them, Are you so without understanding also?
So he said, you guys don't understand either, huh? Go ahead.
Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man, it cannot defile him?
So whatever enters into your body, it can't defile you. All right. Go ahead.
Because it entereth not into his heart, but into his belly, and goeth out into the drunk.
And now he's going back specifically talking about what? What is the whole conversation about? Clean hands. He's going back specifically saying, just because you ate this with your hands unclean, unclean hands, you didn't wash your hands, that doesn't defile you. Because it's going to go in your body, and it's going to go into the toilet. Go ahead.
Purging all meats. And he said, That which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. Far from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness.
So all of these different things are the things that come from inside you that defile you. So it starts on the inside first, and then it gets put as sin. It's a thought, it's a word wanting to manifest itself, and then it's an action. And then the sin keeps growing from there. So Yahweh said you got to check the inside of yourself first. But the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they worried about the outside, how the outside look. Wash your hands and eat. But Yahweh talking about the inside. What goes in you with these dirty hands, he's speaking on so many different levels. Yahweh is so deep when you really look at what he's saying. And look at everything, every angle you can look at, and you're never going to see them all. So even when you dealing with just washing your hands, if I pick up that piece of fruit I just had and I ate it, I didn't defile myself. I ate a fruit, I didn't wash my hands before I ate it, I didn't defile myself. But we know that we want people to wash their hands before they eat. But imagine you being a religious leader of a nation, and you see some of my students walking with me, and you say, hey, Parazal students, why didn't y'all people wash their hands? Like, man, is you serious? That's the level that you're on to stop you doing hand checks now? That's the level that you on? So he's really showing them how petty they were being. But he did it in a respectful way. Go ahead.
All these
let me go. The adulteries. Marrying a woman that's been divorced righteously. Marrying a woman, having sex with another woman, all right, that's married to a man. Having sex with a man when you married to a man. All right, putting away your woman for any reason except for fornication. And then marrying another woman. Marrying a woman that is divorced. All these are different adulteries. And he talks about fornication. All the sexual contact that's against the laws of the Most High. Adulteries. All right, fornications, murders, having abortions, speaking against your brother with your mouth, taking a man's life when it's not justified. These are murders. Covetousness, you want somebody's position. You wanting and desiring something that somebody has in a wicked way. Wickedness, all transgression of the law. Deceit, you're being deceptive, you're being evil, you're trying to mislead somebody. You're holding back the truth. You're not telling the full story. You're deceiving. Lasciviousness, you want to show your whole sexual repertoire of your body. You want to show all the things that people look at and say, oh, that's nice. That's attractive. I'm attracted to that person. That's lasciviousness. Everybody don't have the same bodies, but everybody supposed to have the same amount of cover on their body, especially when they're dealing with another person that can be sexually attracted to them. They got to cover up certain parts of their body, loosely covered up. Loosely covered up. Okay? If you a woman that's a 34, that's a 34B, you may get away with wearing a shirt that's my size, extra large. But if you're a woman that's 44D, you can't get away with wearing that shirt. It's gonna be too tight on your chest. So when you wear that shirt that's tight on your chest like that, that's lasciviousness. When you're a woman that's 34B or 34C, and you're trying to wear a shirt that's a little boy's medium, tight on your chest, that's lasciviousness. When you wear these clothes that's restricting on your body, especially when it's a knit fit. When it's knit, that's lasciviousness. It causes sexual attraction. It causes people to look at all your body parts, your organs. Okay? Your body parts and the organs. All right? Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead. Lascivious, evil eye. Look what he got. Just wanting bad to happen to somebody. Evil eye. Blasphemy, lies and deception against the truth. Pride, exalting yourself, not admitting your faults, saying that the other person got the problem, not you. Pride. Foolishness, just being a fool, walking totally contrary to wisdom, is what Yahweh has said. All those things start from the inside. Can anybody make you do these things? It starts from inside, what you want to do. What do you want to do? All these things come from within and defile the man. All right, go ahead, keep reading.
And from thence he arose and went to the borders of Tyre and Sidon.
So he got up, he said, let me go to Tyre and Sidon now. Go ahead.
And entered into an house. And would have no man know it.
Right.
But he cannot be hid.
He couldn't be hid. They couldn't hide him. Nobody could hide him. Menu. I mean, if it's feasible. So nobody could hide him. He couldn't be hid. Why? Because he was famous. And they wanted to get that healing from him. All right? Go ahead.
For a certain woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit.
So here's the woman. Her daughter has an unclean spirit. A spirit of filthiness is on his daughter. The unclean spirit, doing nasty things, doing bad things, doing unclean things. Now, we know that unclean can be interpreted many different ways. Was it the girl like to touch herself in an inappropriate way? Or maybe the girl like to flash herself, showing people her body? Or did the girl just like to put her hands, when she went number 2, put her hands in that? Or did the girl just like to roll around in the bed when she went number 1 and number 2? But it was doing unclean things. It could be sexual things. It could be physical things with unclean stuff. It could be just, I don't want to wash. So the girl was doing unclean, had an unclean spirit on her. Go ahead.
Heard of him and came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek.
So this is a woman that's a white woman. Go ahead.
A Syrophoenician by nation.
So she was associated with the people, the political boundaries of Syrophoenicia, but she was a Greek woman. She's a Gentile white woman. Or maybe white-ish. Go ahead.
And she besought him.
So she chased him down, looking for him. Go ahead.
That he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter.
Can you please get this devil out of my daughter? I'm not an Israelite, I'm a Gentile. Can you please get this devil out of my daughter? Daughter could have been a Gentile. Daughter could have been an Israelite. We don't know. We know what the woman was. She was a Gentile. Go ahead.
But Yahushua said unto her, let the children first be filled.
Yahweh said, no, my mission is to the children of Israel. I can't give you anything. Read.
For it is not meet to take the children's bread, to take the children's bread and cast it unto the dogs.
It's not right for me to take the meat that's meant for the children, the bread that's meant for the children, and to give it to the dogs. So he called this woman part of a group that he considered to be dogs. So he called this white woman a dog. And he called those that were like her dogs, which is a very disparaging term that he used against this woman. But he's the Messiah. There's no fault in him. So it was okay to call it like it was. This woman's a dog with the children of Israel. You a dog. It's not right to take the bread that's meant for the children of Israel and give it to this dog, which is this white woman that he's talking to. But let's continue. Go ahead.
And she answered and said unto him, Yes, Lord. Yet the dogs under the table eat of the children's crumbs.
So she said, yes, Lord. Meaning, I'm a dog and you are my Lord. But as a dog and you are feeding the children of Israel, can I at least get some of the crumbs? She just wants the crumbs. And that's the attitude that a lot of Gentiles need to have. The Gentiles have the attitude as if they are our equal. We got to submit to them because they're white. And they've had the Bible and they've had the Torah for so many hundreds of years when we were in captivity. And now we got to bow down to them. But they don't recognize themselves as dogs that have repented and as us being the children that have come back home to our kingdom. And now we make the rules. We set the standard. It's our minhagim that we say how it's going to be. It's the halakha that we establish that's going to stand. But they want us to follow after what they've established and they've set up. They don't want to submit and humble themselves unto us. Read. So the woman admitted that she was a dog. The white woman said she's a dog. So if you got a white person that's saying, hey, I'm a dog, and I want the crumbs that fall from the children's table, the children's table, receive that white person. Give them the crumbs that fall from the table. But see, the thing is that we don't have our people can't heal nobody. And the little that we got, how can you give it to somebody? Because they can read the Bible for themselves. So there's no spiritual gifts that we can give anybody, our people or Gentiles. So once we get on that level where we can, then we can discuss this parable. But the woman is showing more faith than our people are showing now in Yahushua. Because we can't do what she did, nor what Yahushua did. We can't believe in Yahweh for our own children to be healed. And we're going to try to use this woman as an example that the Gentiles are dogs. Well, this dog had faith. So what are we if we have less faith than the dog had? What are we? We have less faith than a dog. What does that make us? Less than a dog. You see that? So we have to repent. And we have to do it the right way. And we got to come back to Yahushua. And he's going to put us on a higher level. All right, go ahead.
And he said unto her, for this saying, go thy way.
You know what? Because you admitted the truth, go ahead. Quran.
The devil is gone out of thy daughter.
The devil just left. The devil's gone for your daughter now. The devil's gone. Read.
And when she was come to her house, she found the devil gone out, and her daughter laid upon the bed.
So when she came home, the devil was gone. And her daughter was laying down. All right, come on.
And again, departing the coast of Tyre and Sidon, he came into the Sea of Galilee.
He came to the Sea of Galilee. Go ahead.
He was midst of the coast.
Remember, he was in Tyre and Zidon. Now he come back down to the coastline, and now he went east over into Galilee. Go ahead.
Of the coast of Decapolis.
All right, Decapolis. Not Demopolis, Alabama, but Decapolis, Israel. Go ahead.
And they bring unto him one that was deaf.
So he brought somebody that was deaf. Go ahead.
And had an impediment in his speech.
And couldn't speak right. Go ahead.
And they beseech him to put his hand upon him.
So he said, come lay your hands on this person that can't talk good and can't hear. Go ahead.
And he took aside from the multitude, and put his finger into his ears, and he spit, and touched his tongue.
So he put his finger to the ears, and he spit, and it touched the person's tongue. Go ahead.
And looking up to heaven, he sighed, and said unto them, Ephphatha, that is to say, be opened.
Be open. Go ahead.
And straightway his ears were opened, and the string of his tongue was loosed, and he spake plain. And he charged them that they should tell no man.
So Yahushua, all these things we see Yahushua doing are beautiful, wonderful, miraculous, and holy works that he's did. All right? Now you have other religions come up and say, well, no, you should follow our religion. For what? We have the best teacher, the best example, the best prophet in the history of the world that told us to follow him and obey the Torah. Why would we follow anything else? All right, go ahead.
He charged them that they should tell no man.
So he said, don't tell nobody what I just did. Nobody what I just did. See, people don't read the Bible. How can you read the Bible thinking about a book that came after the Bible? How can you read the Bible thinking about the Quran? When the Bible is so powerful and potent, the Quran can't stand up to the Bible if you believe it and you don't add to it. See, but all these other books, they refer back to the Bible because they know that they can't stand without the Bible because that's the power. That's the example. That's the resource right there. I keep going.
But the more he charged them, so much more, a great deal they published.
So the more he said, don't say nothing to nobody, you know, it's like you tell your friend, hey, such and such and such and such, but hey, don't tell nobody. And that one person you know, when you tell them, man, you know everybody. You tell them not to tell nobody because you know they're going to tell everybody. But Yahushua really didn't want them telling nobody, but he told them not. And the more he said, don't do it, they just kept on talking and talking and talking and talking. Telling everybody. Go ahead.
And were beyond measure astonished, saying, He hath done all things well. He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak.
So he's done everything the right way. He made the deaf people hear, and he made the dumb people talk. People that can't speak, now he healed their mouth. He let them speak. Go ahead.
In those days, the multitude being very great, and having nothing to eat, Yahushua called his disciples unto him, and saith unto them, I have compassion.
Go over there with him. Go ahead.
I have compassion upon the multitude, because they have now been with me 3 days,
right,
and have nothing to eat.
So they were with him for 3 days and just follow him, not eating a whole bunch of food. Just listen to him teaching, watching the miracles that he's doing. All right, go ahead.
And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way, for it drivers of them that came from far. And his disciples answered him, From whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness? And he asked them, How many loaves have ye? And they said, 7. And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground. And he took the 7 loaves, and gave thanks, and brake, and gave to his disciples to set before them. And they did set them before the people. And they had a few small fishes, and he blessed, and commanded to set them also before them. So they did eat, and were filled. And they took up the broken meat that was left, 7 baskets. And they that had eaten were about 4,000, and he sent them away.
So when you rolling with Yahushua, that's why he told them, don't worry about your clothes or your food or your drink. When you're doing my will, I'm going to take care of you. He's going to show you what to do and how to do it. A lot of people say, oh, it's the Sabbath. Oh, it's the Sabbath. I got to go and buy a drink because I'm out there teaching the word of the Most High. Well, you must not be following Yahushua because Yahushua made provision for the people without breaking the commandments. So wisdom would tell you, if you know you're going to go out there and teach and it's a hot day, maybe put a bunch of water in the freezer and take it with you when you leave the house. And maybe make yourself some sandwiches and take them with you when you leave the house. Or maybe get yourself some water and keep it with you so when the sun goes down on the 6th day, and the Sabbath starts the 7th day when the sun comes up and you got to go and do the work of the Most High on a holy day, you don't got to break the commandment. You got to think ahead and foresee the evil and then hide yourself from it. How do you hide yourself from breaking the Sabbath? By making it so you can keep the Sabbath. That's how you hide yourself from the evil. You know ahead of time what you're going to need and what your resources are, and then you can do what you need to do righteously and obediently to the commandments of the Most High. This is the wisdom that Israel needs to take us to the next level. Basic wisdom. Go ahead.
And straightway he entered into a ship with his disciples, and came into the parts of Dalmanutha. And the Pharisees came forth and began to question with him, seeking of a sign from heaven, tempting him.
So they wanted a sign. Go ahead.
And he sighed deeply in his spirit, and said, and saith, Why doth the generation seek after a sign? Verily I say unto you, there shall no sign be given unto this generation. And he left them, and entering into the ship again, departed to the other side.
So he entered into the ship again. And had no man, and didn't want nobody to know. Again, by himself, didn't take the whole crowd with him again. Sometimes when he's doing the work of the Most High, he said, you know what, I need to relax. Because people could get frustrated. People could get on his nerves. People could be unsympathetic toward his needs as a leader, as the most powerful man to ever walk the earth. That, okay, you know what? I need sleep. I need to rest. Can a brother rest for a minute? Go ahead.
Now the disciples have
What verse you in?
Verse 14.
Mark 8:14. Go ahead.
Now the disciples had forgotten to take bread, neither had they in the ship with them more than one loaf. And he charged them, saying, Take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, and of the leaven of Herod.
So he said, be wary of the leaven. Go ahead. What you add to the loaf before it gets cooked to make it bigger. You add the raw dough, and he put the leaven in there, and the leaven causes the whole lump of bread to rise up. So he said, be careful of what these people do that cause rising. Read.
And they reasoned among themselves, saying, It is because we have no bread.
And they didn't understand what he was saying. Well, maybe because we don't have bread. Read.
And when Yahushua knew it, he saith unto them, Why reason ye? Because ye have no bread. Perceive ye not yet.
Read more clear.
Neither understand. Have ye your heart yet hardened? Having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not.
So you got eyes and ears, but you can't hear. Okay, go ahead.
And do ye not remember?
So don't you remember what? He said, don't you remember these?
They say unto him, 12. And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments he took up? And they said, 7.
Don't you remember the miracles I did? And we had food left over from the miracles? Go ahead.
And he said unto them, How is it that ye do not understand? And he cometh to Bethsaida, and they bring a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him.
So he went over to Bethsaida again, and they bring a blind man, and this blind man they want to get healed. Read.
And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit in his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked if he saw aught. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking.
I see men as trees walking. Go ahead. So he looked at the men, but the men were looking like trees. Go ahead.
After that, he put his hands again upon his eyes, and made him to look up, and he was restored, and he saw every man clearly. And he sent him away to his house.
So he put some spit on his hands, and put his hands on the man's eyes. And then the man's sight started to come back gradually. See, sometimes when the Most High is doing something for you in your life, he does it gradually. It doesn't happen all at one time. Everything doesn't happen in the same season for everybody. Sometimes it's a slow process. Dehala. Go ahead.
And he sent him away to his house, saying, Neither go into the town, nor tell it to any in the town.
So he said, don't go into the town, don't tell nobody what I did for you. Go over there with him. Go ahead.
And Yahushua went out and his disciples into the town of Caesarea Philippi, and by the way
Caesarea Philippi. Go ahead.
And by the way he asked his disciples, saying unto them, whom do men say I am?
Who do people say I am? Who do they say I am? What position in people's minds do I have? Go ahead. Who do they say I am? Read.
And they answered, John the Baptist. But some say,
Some people say, well, you John the Baptist. Go ahead.
Elias.
Some people say, well, you Elijah that was prophesied in the book of Malachi. Go ahead.
And others, one of the prophets.
And some people say that you are one of the prophets. Go ahead. That's come back to us. Go ahead.
And he saith unto them, whom say ye that I am?
But who do you say that I am now? Since we know what everybody else says, who do you say I am? Read.
And Peter answereth and saith unto him, thou art the Hamashiach.
He said, you are the Messiah. You are the chosen one of the Most High. You are the chosen one of the Most High. Now go ahead.
And he charged them that they should tell no man of him.
He said, don't tell no man I'm the Messiah. Go ahead.
And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things.
And then he began to teach them that he was going to have to suffer and die, and the people were going to come against him, and he was going to be a sacrifice. Go ahead.
And be rejected of the elders.
The elders are going to reject him. So the leaders of Israel did not accept Yahushua. They rejected him. The elders in the leadership of our people in the ancient world, they rejected the Messiah. They rejected the Son of the Most High. They said, we don't want nothing to do with you. We want to keep our power. You stay what you are. Matter of fact, they said, we're going to have you killed because you jeopardize our position and our power in Israel. They didn't believe in the Messiah. So the elders of Israel rejected him. Some elders and some Pharisees believed him. Some Levites even believed in Yahushua. When you read the book of Acts, a lot of Levites started believing in him. Go ahead.
And of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again.
So 3 days you're going to rise again, meaning what? Meaning that temple is going to be destroyed, and then that temple is going to be built up again. So you got to destroy your temple and build it back up every day. Every day you wake up, you go to bed, you destroy that temple. The old man dies. You wake up in the morning, the new man is there. The respect, the obedience, the fear of Yahweh, the holiness, the love, the order, it's all renewed and improved in your spirit when the next day comes. And if you don't do that every day, we're going to fail at our mission to get into the kingdom of heaven. So it's a daily process that we have to go under. All right, go ahead.
And he spake that saying openly, and Peter took him and began to rebuke him. And when he had
So Peter said, no, you're not going to die. What you doing? Don't say that. Don't say that. You're not going to be dead and get put to death. Why would you even say something like that? Read.
And when he had turned about and looked at his disciples, he rebuked Peter, saying, get thee behind me, Satan.
Peter didn't look at the full picture. Peter was doing the job of Satan. Because Satan didn't want Yahushua to get crucified. Because Yahushua get crucified, then the world gets forgiveness of their sins. Israel gets forgiveness of their sins. All right, go ahead. So he said, get thee behind me, Satan. So the spirit of Satan and the thoughts and the words and the ideas of Satan can come through anybody if they're not looking at the full picture with wisdom. See, that wasn't wisdom because he should have known. But Satan taking that opportunity to use Peter. He just told him what was going to happen. And then you're going to try to rebuke what I said? The teacher, the student is not above the teacher. The disciple is not above the master. He said, you can't rebuke me, Peter. What I'm saying is true, man. I rebuke you, Satan. Get thee behind me, Satan. And he put Peter in check. Read.
For thou savorest not the things that be of on high,
Mm-hmm.
but the things that be of men.
You ain't thinking about the spiritual thing. You think about men. You can't taste the things of Yahweh. You can only taste the things of man. Look at the big spiritual picture, Peter. What I said to you. You want to be taught. You want me to walk with you and show you miracles. Don't worry about that, man. Don't savor that. Savor the ultimate goal of my arrival, which is to die for the sins that were coming to the world from Adam our father, messing up. Go ahead.
And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross, and follow me.
So you got to take up your cross and follow Yahweh Shai. You got to walk in a way for the betterment and for the benefit and for the good of your brothers. You have to deny yourself and make your brother in our uprising as a nation your number one priority every day, because that's what Yahweh Shai did. If you're truly his disciple, your whole existence revolves around walking as he walked. Every single thing we read, we see him doing all this stuff for other people, then he wanted to be alone. All these things for other people, then he wanted to be alone. The Gentile woman coming to him, he tell her, no, I don't got it for you. She humbled herself, and then he helps her. See, we have to model ourselves like he did. Take up our cross and follow him. And that cross every day, Yahweh's cross led him to what? Death and crucifixion. So your cross, you should be learning how to kill that old man every day. You can do it. You can do it because your master, your rabbi did it. Your Lord, your King of Kings, he did it. And if he did it, he gave you the power, if you believe, to become the sons of God also. If you believe. If you believe, then you got to crucify yourself every day. And the part of you that does not believe, guess what? You got to murder it. I'm not murdered, so excuse me. You got to kill it tonight. Whatever part of you doesn't believe, you got to kill it tonight before you go to bed. You got to kill it, and then you got to put it to rest. And when you wake up in the morning, you're a new creature again. You wake up every day a new creature. Every day you become a new creature. You crucify the old man every day. This ain't just words on the page. This is something you think about, you meditate on, and you do it. Because only you know your kryptonite. How to stop you from doing the wrong that you're doing. All right, go ahead.
For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
You see that? You putting your life first. Your job, what your children want, what you want, what you like to do. You don't put obedience first. You got to put obedience first. You got to put what the master wants. You got to put what your head wants. Whether it's your Hawashai or whether it's your husband. You got to put that first. Whosoever shall what?
Whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
You're trying to save your own life. You're not trying to sacrifice or put your life, all right, to the side for the life of your head, to follow your Hawashai, to follow decently and in order what the Most High is giving you in your life. You're not doing that. But you have to do that. If you want to reach the kingdom, you have to put yourself last. Put others and your Hawashai first. Go ahead.
Whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save him.
So whoever shall lose their life, meaning they're not living for themselves. They're living for Yahweh. They're living for their brother. They're living for their sister. Their fasting, their prayers, their studying is always for other people, the brothers and sisters, to be able to do better. The clothes, the food that other people lack, they share that with them. You see? When you start doing these actions like this daily, then you walk in the footsteps of Hamashiach. Then you deny yourself. For the scripture saith, he that keepeth the law getteth the understanding thereof. So when you keep the words of Yahweh Shai and you do them, then you'll start to get the understanding of Yahweh words. But you can't get them to understanding them. You can't get them to understand them by just looking at them on the page. Go ahead.
For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
So you lose everything in this world for the sake of righteousness, and you gain your soul. But if you gain everything in this world and you forsake the ways of righteousness, then you're going to lose your soul in that lake of fire. So you have to live a life that's holy, in the fear of Yahweh, in love of order, because he's a God of order. He's not a God of disarray or chaos. You see? Disarray and chaos. So whoever says that I'm going to lose my life for the gospel's sake, lose your life doesn't mean that you're going to physically die. It just means that your life and how you're living, the things that you wanted out of life before you met Yahweh Shai, those things are no longer your priority. All your dreams and aspirations that are not going to win souls to the Messiah, that are not going to heal people physically and spiritually, do not get to remain the priority. The priority becomes saving a person's soul, leading a person into obedience to the Father. That's the priority now. And that's what you have to do. If you don't do that, you're going to lose your soul. It's just simple. It's not a difficult equation. All right? More everybody else plus less you equals eternal life. More you, which is you seeking your own life, plus less of everybody else, which is not losing your own life, equals losing your soul. So the more you do for the Father, the Son, and the more you do for your brother and sister, the more you do for the Ruach HaKodesh, Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, the more you walk in Chachma, the closer you get to eternal life. So you want things you like to do and want to do now, and then you lose your soul. It's not worth it. What the Father Yahweh said to do now, or
what shall a man give in exchange for his own soul?
what will a man give in exchange for his soul? You see, it doesn't make sense, but people are giving for their own soul. They're giving. What are they giving for their own soul? Meaning, what are they trading for their eternal life? So what sins are they committing so they can have something physical now, and then they're going to lose eternal life? Was it something fun? You want to go to a park? You want to go to some type of event out of order when the Most High don't want you doing this thing? You want to go to a Christmas party when the Most High said don't do that? You see? You want to eat bacon, pig bacon, and pork ribs and pig feet, so you lose your soul? Well, I'm not going to lose you may not think you're going to lose your soul for that, but all sin is unrighteousness, and all sin is an abomination. And if you disobey Yahweh, then you won't see the kingdom. That's called sedition. You're rebelling against a lawful authority. So now, you're giving up your soul so you can have this physical thing right here. You're going to give up you're going to give up everything you got spiritually to get something physically. That doesn't make sense, does it? Because the spirit is going to last forever if you do right. So don't change anything for your soul. Humble yourself and do what the Father said to do. Humble yourself and obey his words. Don't let your pride or your own physical desire for pleasure cause you to sin against the Most High. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation.
Yahweh means that how are you going to be ashamed of me when it's everybody else that's sinful and adulterous and wrong? How are you going to be ashamed of me? and I'm right, everybody else is wrong. So whoever is ashamed of me, go ahead, in this adulterous and wicked generation. Meaning you should be happy with me. You should be pleased with me. You should be ready to display me to everybody. Why? Because they need me. He didn't come to the ones that were healthy. He come to the ones that were spiritually sick, that needed him. Go ahead.
Of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels.
So if you're ashamed of Yahushua now, you're not doing his will now, you don't want the rewards he's trying to give you now. So when it's time for you to get the reward, Yahushua gonna say, when he say, I'm gonna say I'm ashamed of you before the Father, he's gonna say, what? I don't know you. Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. I never knew you. That's the last part, right? All right, so that's the last of Mark, and maybe we'll be back tomorrow to go over more scriptures as we do the daily studies to help to cleanse a person's soul, to help them to become more holy and to become more loving toward their brothers, sisters, and toward Yahweh. More in order, and also to have more fear of Yahweh. So if you do this here in Turkey, maybe we'll share it with you all that are in other places outside of Turkey, so that you can try to grow with us spiritually. So we do lessons like this every day. And right now we do them mainly in like maybe a small block and one big block. So we'll probably end up breaking them up into like maybe 3 or 4 smaller blocks throughout the day, right? Throughout the day. So we go into we read the Psalms that go for this, and it's done based on the lunar calendar, based on the Hebrew calendar. We don't do it by the first of the Gentile month. We do it start on the first of the Hebrew month. Okay. We do it from the first of the Hebrew months. Okay. So with that, we say Yahweh be with you all. In the name of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. We'll see y'all soon, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. All right, Shalom Lekam.